Hello, Blue Justin here, still Justin, still not blue, and this is going to be the part 2 of my February haul. As I said, it was larger than expected. It was really good first half of the month, and then second half of the month I just bought one thing that led to another, or two, or more, as you might have seen in my first part. And watched a couple of YouTube videos which went, oh, this would be really nice to have. It's not that expensive, really. It might add up a little bit. Don't worry, I didn't overspend that much. It's just that I wanted to cut back more than I ended up doing. So let's start up again with something that nice and simple, a nice little comedy. I loved the first two of these. I don't know whether or not this is going to live up. I think I have heard that it's a little bit not quite as good as the first two, but then again, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't expecting it to be for some reason after watching the trailers, and that's Paddington in Peru. This is the Blu-ray with a really nice little slip. I think I could have got a 4K, but since I have the UK Blu-rays for all the others, I didn't see the point. This one's just a PG for mild threat. This time, instead of being set in the UK with Paddington being from Peru, he returns to his homeland to see his old Aunt Lucy, and she has gone missing, so they all have to go in an adventure to find her. I thought the first Paddington was very good indeed. I felt the only downside was the fact that it was a little bit too scary, in the sense of that there were references, for example, to past deaths, etc., which I'm not sure would have been right for the younger children watching. The second film I thought was absolutely perfectly balanced, very funny, few jokes for the old watchers as well, but no actual point did you think to yourself, oh, this is something that's going to upset anybody. This one, I think it's kept it nice and light, but I don't know whether how much the humour is going to hit home, as well as keeping it in the London type setting. But then again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you have to experiment. Even if the experiments go wrong, I think it's good that they don't just copy the same old formula. And that's how I defend all the Jurassic Park films that I don't think are necessarily as good. Next up, we have, I think it's a spin-off series. Is it a series or a film? Yeah, it must be a short series. This is a spin-off. It's Justified, City Primeval. I think season 1, yes, to say, yeah, shouldn't be quite so stupid. I worked out more by the fact it's 370 odd minutes long. Justified, the series one, just much longer. I really enjoyed that much I saw. The only damn thing I thought was that if you wanted the Blu-rays in the UK, you had to buy the whole series. I think you could get the first one on Blu-ray, all the rest only available on DVD, unless you bought season 1 to 5 box set on Blu-ray. Then again, worth it. Very reasonable price, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure because it's over there. So yeah, really looking forward to watching that and catching up with Ryan Givens and how he's hanging about now. So yeah, Timothy Olyphant in this is absolutely brilliant, I remember. next up, my first import of this selection, but this time not from Germany. You would be amazed to hear. This time it's a Nova Media title. It's not one of their big lenticulars or anything daft like that, but I've tried to get this for a very long time and haven't been able to on Blu-ray. I have got the DVD. This is an upgrade. This is A Better Tomorrow, the original one. If you go searching for A Better Tomorrow Blu-ray, what you'll get is the remake, because that's the only one that's available in most places. And a lot of the Blu-rays that they do of these things, unfortunately, aren't that much better quality than the DVDs. This one, I believe, should be significantly better, as it's a nice Nova Media version. Unlike the DVD, however, it does not have an English dub, so if you would prefer it in English dub, you might have to stick with the DVD for now, unless potentially you can find, if they did a Hong Kong rescue. There used to be some person who was a pirate that basically took the best quality, took quality copies of all the best bits, essentially. So he used to copy the different dubs, or etc., from all around the world. Find the best picture quality, find all the different cuts, and put them all onto one release, which you wish that it wasn't pirated, because you don't really want to do that. Unfortunately, he doesn't do that anymore, mostly because he got greedy. People came after him. He thought he'd keep on making them, taking orders, couldn't keep up with demand because they were such good quality if you could get hold of them, and whatnot. So obviously he then disappeared with lots of people's money, and most people aren't very happy with him. It wasn't A Better Tomorrow, but as an aside, he did find one where there's a Hong Kong release, which is the highest quality release in the world. The picture quality on the Blu-rays in America and the UK or whatever were absolutely appalling, DVD quality-ish, but there was a Hong Kong Blu-ray release which was much better picture quality, but didn't have an English dub. But if you wanted an English dub, he provided it with the mix of the two. He put the English dub on that, and also the improved subtitles, etc. So yeah, but anyway, back to this one quickly. Yeah, this is, like I said, Nova Media. Very, very pleased to be able to upgrade my A Better Tomorrow to this one. Chow Yun-fat, one of my favourite Asian actors, and I can feel that, yeah, this is even though it's not a steelbook or anything, but it's an embossed cover, which is nice. On the title there, and just around the outline of the Chow Yun-fat character. Again, policemen and mobsters, as you can see. And next up, we're going to have something a little bit different. We're going to go to science fiction, and that means I couldn't find the right Doctor for a t-shirt, but I'm in a little bit of a rush because I'm going to go on holiday soon, and I wanted to get these recorded for you before I went. So this is the brand new Doctor Who The Collection Season 7. John Pertwee release, not a Tom Baker. In actual fact, this is Pertwee's first season. It's got only 4 serials in it, but they're highly regarded. It's got Spearhead from Space, Doctor Who and the Silurians, which is an odd title because it actually calls it Doctor Who and the Silurians, not the Silurians, which is the usual title caption. You'll just put the title of the serial rather than Doctor Who and the. It's got called The Ambassadors of Death and Inferno. Spearhead, the first one, that's the first John Pertwee, also the first Doctor Who in colour, is only 4 parts. Well, I say only, it's the normal length, 4 parts, and the others are quite unusually long. They're all 6, if I recall correctly. Again, the usual, it's got loads and loads of extra features that are not on the DVDs, as well as the DVD features all ported across. This has got a nice DTS HD Master Audio soundtrack. Like I said, lots and lots of new extras, as you can see on the back there. In actual fact, Spearhead from Space is one of the rare Blu-rays, Doctor Who Blu-rays, that was produced before they started switching over to these standard Blu-ray releases, before they thought that was going to happen, because it was one of the few that was shot on film. I believe when they started shooting that series, this season 7, there was a strike on, so they couldn't use the studios. Therefore, they had to shoot it using film as an outside broadcast, which meant, of course, that the film stock was of much higher quality than the video, rather than the film, which would be much higher, and therefore really show up an improvement on Blu-ray, which is why they've done it before. In actual fact, I think they did a Blu-ray steelbook release of it, and it's one of the very few, 1 or 2 Doctor Who Blu-ray steelbooks I do not have. But I digress. The others do benefit from being on Blu-ray, though not, because even though they were shot on video at that smaller, at that lower resolution, because of the colour increase, and obviously they have all still undergone the latest clean-up technologies and restorations, as well as massive amount of extras on top of the massive amount of extras that were done for the original DVDs, which is pretty amazing to start with. So what does this run? Does it say a nice running time? Yes, 825 minutes of total running time of John Pertwee goodness. And okay, on to another little bit of science fiction, though this one could have gone in my part 1 as almost a horror-ish type thing. Yes, sorry, I put it in the wrong order. And this is Under the Skin. This was just a pick up on spec. I've been looking at it for a while, and it was a good price. This one is an alien entity inhabiting an earthly form of a seductive young woman, played by Scarlett Johansson. So yes, that's going to work. Who comes to Scottish highways, which is it's nice to see it outside of America for once, in search of human prey. It lures them to its isolated and forsaken male victims into an otherworldly dimension where they're stripped and consumed. But life in all its complexity starts to change the alien, and it begins to see itself as the she form that it has taken as human, with tragic and terrifying consequences. It's quite a lot more about the film is more like seeing ourselves as through the eyes of alien others in the end, as humanity develops. So yeah, a little bit more of a thinking person's science fiction as compared to some, but it is rated 15 for infrequent strong sex and frequent nudity, so beware of that if that is something that you don't like. But yeah, not too many extras, just behind the scenes interviews, but there are lots of them. There's separate ones for camera, casting, editing, locations, music, poster design, production design, script, sound and special effects. So looking forward to seeing that for the first time. So yeah, and apparently also it's by Jonathan Glazer, who did Sexy Beast and Birth, and this is his third highly acclaimed film. Next up, more science fiction, and this is a survival adventure. It's a very nice South Korean film. This one, obviously, as I can show you, you can see it's called The Moon. This is a survival thing where 7 years after Korea's first fully manned mission to the moon ends in disaster, a second human spaceflight is launched successfully until strong solar wind causes it to malfunction. And there's an astronaut left stranded in space and running quickly out of oxygen. The narrow space centre turns to its former managing director to avert yet another fatal catastrophe. So, sci-fi survival adventure. Now, I don't know whether or not it could be compared to something like The Martian along that, but I think hoping for a bit of high stakes tension in this one. Yeah, it's only 12 rated, but it's got moderate threat and bloody images, but hopefully a bit of tension there. Anyway, it's a very nice, interesting cover there, and as you can see, I think it's a steelbook, and I don't know if the offer is still on, but this is a 4K steelbook that I got from Zavvi for something like, I think it was only £2 more than the Amaray Blu-ray is available for most of the time. There was a really nice sale as I caught, and I've been looking at getting this one for a little while, and so yeah, for a 4K steelbook, very decent price. How much was it anyway? Just while I'm here, if I can find it quickly. Yeah, $17.99, and obviously that's without any discounts because that was just Zambi price, reduced from $29.99 in a sale. There is a little bit of embossing there. It's got the standard edge marking, surround, but also the title there, the lettering is embossed, all of it, except obviously the second O, which is a bit of a shame that crater isn't debossed. That would have been really nice, but was not to be. Anyway, as I say rather, not many extras, just a trailer, behind the scenes and some character bios, but yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Next up, this type of thing, we've got Gen V, but that's season 1, but it's an Amazon original, and it is a spin-off from The Boys. That is a series I really should get down to watching. I have the Blu-rays, but I've never actually settled down to actually do the watching. The Gen V is set at America's only college exclusively for young adults superheroes, run by Vault International from the Boys. And Gen V explores the lives of hormonal competitive superheroes, or supes, as they put their physical, sexual and moral boundaries to the test, competing for the school's top ranking. You see, it's another 18 rated, strong injury, detail and nudity, so it doesn't hold back, just similar to The Boys, I imagine. Yeah, like I said, Amazon original, it says in the front, so looking for it. Next up, we are still science fiction, but we're changing a little, and as I'm sure you know and expecting me to get, the Mandalorian complete 3rd season is out. I'll say again that I totally disagree with the fact that they only put out these things on 4K and only in steelbook format. I think it's very unfair that they can do this and overcharge them massively. So anybody who just like a Blu-ray of the Amarais cannot do so, or even a 4K of the Amarais, but especially the latter at a reasonable price, or former rather. I don't think it's right. The fact that I would get the 4K steelbook anyway is not the point. I disagree with their practices, but at least they have changed their minds and are actually releasing them. So I've got to support that, because otherwise I'm sure that their marketing department is just going to turn around if people start saying, oh, we're not going to buy them at that price. They'll turn around and say, well, we were right all along. We're just going to stop releasing them, forcing you into only watching them on streaming and subscribe to Disney Plus, and at the same time doing the Yabu sucks that they were right all along, which they weren't. They were just, I mean. But anyway, that is just the next, obviously, Mandalorian. So it continues that story in the Star Wars universe. And talking of the Star Wars universe, obviously I also got the complete first season of Ahsoka. You keep on pronouncing it as ASH instead of AHS, but Ahsoka. If I actually had watched the season, I probably would know how to pronounce the name much better. Really looking forward to this. Still quite expensive for it's 8 episodes, but again, she's a good character. I'm looking forward to finding that out, and I'm really annoyed that I couldn't find this t-shirt, but can't have everything. I found 3 different Mandalorian t-shirts, but anyway, last the science fiction, but this one's very, very different. This is almost goes into less science fiction, more fantasy elements, sort of represented on the cover. This is a Roger Corman movie, and it's an import. That tells you all you really need to know. It's a post-nuke collection called The Sisterhood, whereas despite the fact it's theoretically science fiction and post-apocalypse, as you can tell by the vehicle, I believe they do find vehicles, etc. And it's the massively futuristic year of 2021. Women have been enslaved by a brutal army of men who survived the nuclear holocaust, and their only hope for freedom is in the hand of a nomadic band of fierce she-warriors called the Sisterhood. And they, I believe they not only have warrior prowess, they also have special powers and skills as well. So that's going to be an interesting watch, as are all Roger Corman's movies. So yeah, this is an uncut version, and it's a new high definition master from Original Elements, which is always nice. And it's got an interview with the star Rebecca Holden, who was in Knight Rider and Loverboy, and also it stars Lynn Holly Johnson from Where the Boys Are, For Your Eyes Only, and Ice Castles, and Chuck Wagner from, if anybody remembers it, Automan. So yeah, that's it's all region. Look for if anybody is interested in importing it and doesn't have a multi-region machine like I do. Yeah, it's 1.78 to 1, just English mono. and just a mere 89 minutes long, as for most Roger Corman output. So yeah, and talking of going towards the more, looks more swords and sorcery rather than futuristic, to be perfectly honest, let's have some swords and sorcery. And whilst she doesn't appear in any of these movies, I'm going to represent swords and sorcery with Medusa. So next up, and if you were wondering, yes, it's another one of those. I blame watching YouTube videos. I watched somebody's favourite Roger Corman type-esque 80s fantasy type movies. They included the Sisterhood, even though it's set in the future, sort of swords and whatnot. So it's more magical powers looking than technology. The next one, however, is not Roger Corman. It is, however, Atoll. This is a Spanish release, so I can't do the easy translations, but as you can tell, we're going to get some medieval, some old-fashioned sorcery stuff. Looks like directors Joe D'Amato and Miles O'Keefe stars as well as Sabrina Ciani. I think it says it's translating as Atoll the Invincible, but I think it might be Atoll, called Atoll the Eagle, if I recall correctly, in other countries where it's much more difficult to get and expensive. So this one, however, it does have, because it's originally, it does have an English DTS HD Master Audio 2.0 track. And in actual fact, the other tracks are Spanish and German, but they're only in Dolby Digital. And the subtitles are in Spanish, Castilian, so yeah, 1982. And all region, again, for those importing to America or wherever. But obviously, if it was coming from Spain, it would only be region B anyway, so that would be fine. Approximately 92 minutes worth of bashing people with swords and stuff like that, so that's going to be fun. Carrying on with the usual fun, and here we have the uncut, can't be the Sword and the Sorcerer, because that's is it the sword and the sorceress, maybe? So this one is B region, supposedly, and DTS HD Master Audio 2.0 in German and English again. 1.85 to 1. And the artwork galleries and a couple of trailers, the German one and the original one. And you can tell it's David, as you can see there, David Carradine stars. If it's not, because the Sword and the Sorcerer is that other piece of fun with the triple bladed sword. Great, I love that film. It's a great shame that they left that one open and never did a follow-up. Starring the same person who starred in Matt Houston, that short-lived TV series about the detective oil billionaire. And next up, again, we have another 80s type fantasy effort. And this one, luckily, I can tell you a bit more about, because it's an import from the US, therefore it'll be in English on the back. In this particular case, this is Hundra, but was known as the female Conan, which is called, as I can't read the back very easily, because just a couple. I shall actually give this a quick open. It shouldn't be too hard. It says tempting fate, and this is actually a nice version of this. Not with regards to the film's going to be the same regular release, which is this one, and that's the back, and that's where it says that it does actually point out, as I remembered, often referred to as the female Conan, sword and sorcery epic, stars Lauren Landon from Airplane 2 and Maniac Cop, fierce warrior woman Hundra, filmed with steamy scenes of barbarian women warriors fighting and making love to thunderous score by Oscar-winning composer Ennio Morricone. 1983 Spanish production. It's the story of an arch-fighter and swordswoman Hundra, who is superior to any man, vowing revenge when her family is slain the day she finds her love and her true purpose. Directed by Matt Simber, best known for the original Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling fame, apparently. Dark Force Entertainment, presenting Hundra for the first time in high def, in original, why it says in the original anamorphic format, when high def means it's not going to be anamorphic. Anamorphic only applies to DVDs. I think what they mean is it's the original correct aspect ratio, because this is a new 2K scan from the only known 35mm print, which is owned by Matt Simber, which is nice. He also provides an audio commentary with the star Lauren Landon, and that's very, very, you wouldn't expect that of most of these sort of thing. Plus an interview with them both, which lasts 48 minutes, plus a brand new on-camera interview with the director with another 52 minutes, and a brand new 2021 interview with the actor-writer, which is 23 minutes. So that's an awful lot when you're thinking of it's just like your 1980s swords and sorcery type, throw it together. Probably not the greatest actor in the world, etc. So, but no, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it stands up. This one is, again, this is American, but it is all region. It's 2.35 to 1. It's R rated, so don't expect it to be that subtle. Like I said, that's the normal release you can get, but this is the one I got with the limited edition slip. I can't remember how many of these they did. It isn't like it's impossible to get hold of slip. I mean, the seller that I got it from on eBay had a few left still, but it is a really rather nice slip with embossing there, as you can see. So yeah, so it's always nice. It's a little bit crushed, but because it's only thin card, and obviously it's come through the post and it's wrapped around a thin case, standard for America. But yeah, so looking forward to watching that. The next up is probably around about the same area. It isn't too much sorcery, but we've still got a few swords involved. And this is one I've been thinking of getting for a while. I think again we're going to have the Spanish import, which is why I'm not going to know the full story, but I think this is based on a true story. I will put a little bit of maybe a quick description up here as I'm holding it. It's in colour. It's got an English and Spanish soundtrack, 2.35:1, and obviously DTS HD, but it's just 2.0. So yeah, and really looking forward to this based on true story type thing from around the era of the fall of, well, the most auspicious era of Rome, but those famous or infamous, more to the point, emperors, and Messalina's attempts to become the female power behind the throne. And therefore, of course, once we've dealt with Rome, we could not possibly leave without the most recent arrival from Rome, which is the HMV exclusive version of the 4K steelbook of Gladiator 2. There's the 4K of Gladiator 2, there's a 4K steelbook of Gladiator 2, and there's this exclusive HMV steelbook 4K of Gladiator 2 with different design on the cover. No, for once I did not go out and get multiple versions just because I wanted to collect all the different steelbook covers, but I did go obviously for the steelbook, and I preferred the HMV exclusive, so that's what I went for. It also includes apart from the Blu-ray copy, it also includes a bonus disc, double-sided poster, and 6 art cards. So, looking forward to that. I know that some people have not been fans of this and think it's an unnecessary and unwanted follow-up, but then again, there are a lot of people who thought lots of films have got unnecessary and unwanted sequels. That doesn't necessarily mean they're all bad. Some of them haven't have lived up to the fact that they were not expected to be much good. I think that personally I'd like to give this one a go and see what I think, even if it doesn't match I think the problem might be that it'd be hard pressed to match the absolute brilliance of the original Gladiator. So I think it might try to reproducing past glory and therefore being compared in that negative light, which of course was bound to happen. So if you didn't want it to be compared, then Ridley Scott shouldn't have gone down that route, but he did, and so you can see that I think there you can see that they've included those art cards down the back there, so it doesn't look like they're not they're outside of the case. So once I've undone the plastic shrink wrap, I'm going to have to keep those either next to it on the shelf or separately. So, or maybe I should just put them into the original Gladiator case that I've got because I've got a huge big box edition of that. So anyway, yeah, that is part 2 of my February haul, and I think maybe a little bit shorter, despite the fact actually it's about the same number of titles. Maybe I couldn't talk about them as much because I couldn't remember as much and I didn't have the descriptions on the back to go through. But still, I hope you enjoyed seeing what I'd been tempted into buying by foolishly watching YouTube videos and being led down the garden path by them, obviously, as well as some pre-orders that I would definitely have made anyway. But yeah, so if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. When I come back from holiday, I am going to try, before I go back to work, so I've got a few extra days actually at home, rather than, even though I'm going away for the early part, then I've got a few days at home. I'm hoping to do a video or two then, and those will be ones that I've been preparing for a while, so they won't be quite as rushed as this one might have felt. Sorry for that again. But like I always say, please keep on enjoying your own physical media and the films you're watching. Keep on trying to support the cinemas, get into them as much as you can. And until I see you again, bye.